Well, good afternoon. I don't know if the sunlight kind of accentuates the 5 o'clock shadow or 6 day shadow. I usually shave every 5 or 6 days, and I'm a little feeling a little scruffy. But I wanted to follow up and just do a short rant, a follow up to today's motivational Saturday workout video, and talk a little bit about the well, maybe some of the reasons why I don't or have been hesitant to join another gym. Kind of, you know, I guess toxic gym culture is kind of the popular thing now, or that those are kind of like the headlines on some videos now that we see, like on TikTok and YouTube and everything else. And there's one popular YouTuber named Joey Swole, who highlights different, little toxic encounters and scenarios, and why that's hurting the gym culture in general. And it's kind of the scourge of things I kind of saw starting to happen, maybe in the maybe 10 years ago or so. Uh, Sounds like there's the ice cream man in the background. That usually happens around this time of day. If it's nice out, it's really nice out today. It's like 65. It feels like it's warmer than it is because the sun is out, not a cloud in sight. Just picture perfect day. A good reason to live in El Paso in December. Anyways, so I've been like I had mentioned before in my other video. I had lifted weights, starting in college, my freshman year when I was 19, and kind of got hooked on it. Football players at the dorm where I was staying invited me to come lift weights with them, so I went with them. Started lifting weights just there at the college gym at SMU where I attended my freshman year, and I'd kind of gotten off a time where in all in high school I ran cross country, and I did a couple seasons of track as well. I was a 4 year cross country runner, but I did get a little bit chubby. I didn't like the way I looked, and I wanted to completely transform myself. So I started lifting weights, and I got pretty obsessed with it. And so I lifted weights all through college, just on my own, going, it started with just maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And then that kind of evolved into 4 or 5 days a week. And then that evolved into more complex routines where I would do, different splits, like, legs and back, or, chest and back. Usually you want to do like a push and a pull on one day, and maybe dedicate 1 or 2 days to legs. If I'm going to do a really hard leg session with doing heavy squats, maybe I'll just dedicate that one day to just nothing but legs. So it kind of evolved from there. And, even after I graduated college, they allowed alumni to continue to work out at the SMU gym. So I continued working out at that gym probably till 2002, 2003. Before I finally decided, here I am. I'm kind of starting to be a creepy old man. Well, even back then, I mean, I was in my early 20s. I'm not like a creepy old man, but still, you have these college age kids. And I was, well, I'll just admittedly, I was also there to kind of see the women in the gym, these college girls and everything. And, but I was, I was pretty intense about my workout. I went every day. I would spend hours. Even after work, after I got off work, I'd go in, and I remember one of the guys I knew, who's the director of intramural sports. He's the one who got me into a couple of the contests that they had when I was still attending college, and I was my junior and my senior year. And sometime he came up to me and he said, "Well, when are you going to come back to school? Like when? Because you're here all the time." He's like, "When are you going to finally come back to school? When are you going to have you applied for graduate school? Because that was kind of the plan at one point. I wanted to maybe try to get a master's in psychology. My grades were shit, to be honest. So I wasn't sure that that was going to work for me. I still had to take that. Is it the GMRE? So the one to get into graduate school. I think that's it. And I kind of gave up on that, but I kept going to the college gym because I'm an alumni and I can go. And I had I think they charged me a nominal fee or something to continue going, but I went because it was just the most convenient for me. And then finally, like I said, in 2003, I think after he made that comment, it kind of made me feel like, okay, it's time for me to move on to another gym. At least one of the commercial gyms or something, like a Gold's Gym or something, because this is getting kind of creepy. I'm in my 20s and I probably shouldn't just be hanging out here. I'm not a college age kid anymore. Not that there weren't older people in there, and they're even in their 20s and 30s, 25, 30 years old, or even older in some cases. They're middle-aged people. There are faculty that would go in there. And work out. So it's not like I shouldn't be working out there, but it just felt like it was time to move on. So I went to a place called Bally's Fitness, and that was Bally's Total Fitness was like a big chain there in Dallas, and I presume in some other cities. And I finally signed up and started going to Bally's instead. And then they changed hands. I think they had there was a big rainstorm like in 2009, and they closed it down, and then they said they were going to reopen, but they never really did. And another company took ownership of it. I think Blast Fitness, I think was the company that took it over. I started going to Blast because I automatically had a membership at Blast, and so I went to Blast. But then, I think I wasn't happy with the location that I was going, which was close to Mesquite, which is kind of a trek for me. I finally decided to quit that membership and moved on to another place called LA Fitness. So for the past 10 years, from 2013 to 2023, I was at LA Fitness. And I got a really good deal where they gave me nationwide access. And it was because I was in the lending business at the time. And one of the lenders that we worked with, that we would bring business to, happened to have a special discount for their employees. So this guy that was signing me up, that was working at LA Fitness, gave me this discount. It was really nice of him to do that because I wasn't technically an employee of the lender, but because I was working with the lender. He thought, yeah, what's the difference? So he gave me this discount where I was only paying like $32 a month, and I would have, like I said, nationwide access to all the LA Fitness locations across the United States. I thought, man, that's a hell of a deal. So I'll take it because with my lending business, I did some traveling, and there might be some places that would have LA Fitnesses, and I could work out in other cities for free. It'd be under my membership. So I signed up there, but the toxic gym culture thing, over the years, I think the thing that's the most annoying is the filming, because nobody wants to be inadvertently in somebody else's film. But at the same time, some of these people act like they're prima donnas and that it's their private filming studio. They treat this gym that everybody else have membership to, and they have no consideration for all the other members. They think, oh, they're the one, they're special or somehow, and you're not supposed to walk in front of their filming. And I've never had that type of encounter where I walked in front of somebody's film setup and they got mad at me or anything. But I think that it's given rise to, if you watch some of these videos that Joey Swoll has, it's given rise to just a kind of an online bullying. And it speaks to, unfortunately, maybe it's something with mankind where if we can do it and get away with it, we will. So generally, the whole bullying thing happens when you're a child and you get past bullying when you're an adult, you grow out of that, right? But now this whole internet age has given rise to this kind of tacit bullying where people are filming people in the background and making fun of their form. And anyways, so I guess not just the filming, but just other aspects of the way the gym culture is now. People were increasingly, because of the rise after 2008 with smartphones and everything else, people are on their phones constantly. They're distracted. They're taking up equipment that they're when they could be working out, but instead they're screwing around, either posting on Twitter or listening to music is fine. That's great, but I mean, if you're sitting there screwing around, laughing at a Facebook post when you're there to work out, right? You should be focused 100% on your workout. And back in the day, that's what we did in the gym in the 80s and 90s. Well, I didn't start going to the gym until the mid 90s, but still, even back then, people were there to work out, and they, if anything, the different, the people going to the gym were talking to each other, or socializing with each other. They weren't buried in a phone, and so I think that's part of the reason that I kind of am now hesitant to get back into the gym, because I'm sure that even I've only been away from, LA Fitness. I had to cancel my membership because I moved to El Paso, and they don't have an LA Fitness out here. So last time I went to the LA Fitness was early 2023, so early last year. But I imagine it's probably exponentially worse than it was even when I was going. So that's part of my hesitance. I don't want to deal with these people that are filming and taking up space, screwing around on their phone, and then you have to ask them, how many sets do you have left? And I hate confrontation. I don't want to have to do that. I want to get my workout done. I'm considerate of other people. I don't even listen to. I don't even have I don't even bring my phone into the gym, to be honest. If I do bring my phone, I'll have it turned off. I mean, I don't want any distractions when I work out. I don't even listen to music. Hopefully there's some good music playing on the gym speakers, because sometimes they usually play music, and that's good enough for me. I don't really care. But I think also, and I'm, after the pandemic, the gyms were shut down for like 3 months, and we couldn't go to the gym. And I'm not a germaphobe really, but and I know that I've been guilty of, because I'll sweat a lot when I work out. I've been guilty of being someone when I was younger, and maybe I wasn't as considerate back then, where I would leave sweat on a bench and I didn't wipe, the equipment that I use, I didn't wipe it down, whatever. So that's also part of my hesitance to get back in, as I think to myself, it's just kind of gross, in a way. You're exposed to all these germs and everything else, and yet I don't know, maybe it's just more sanitary to work out at home if you can manage to get the equipment that you need, the basic equipment that you need, and just try to work out at home. But I am missing that kind of. There is still even if I don't interact with anyone at the gym, there's a kind of social aspect to the gym that I'm missing, that I miss. Even just people watching. When you're on the treadmill after you finished your weightlifting, you get on the treadmill to cool down, walk or even jog for a little bit, and just that people watching aspect, I kind of miss, and that's part of the reason I want to get back into the gym. But then again, here where I'm living, all the gyms, there's like there's a Gold's gym that recently opened up, or actually opened up a year ago, and it's kind of expensive, and it's kind of far away. Well, it's 8 miles away, but the gym that I was going to when I was living in Dallas was only 3 miles away, so it was a very quick, little 10-minute drive. Here we've got a lot of traffic going on. There's a lot of different road constructions at different areas, which kind of is kind of an obstacle just to get over there to Gold's Gym. And then there's Planet Fitness. And I thought about Planet Fitness. It's really cheap. It's like $10 a month, right? The thing that sucks about Planet Fitness, they don't have barbells. They have the Smith machine, but nothing substitute barbells. Now, if you're injured, Smith machine is great to use when you're injured, but you need those free weights. There's just nothing can really substitute just the good old fashioned deadlifts and the squats that you do with a free weight barbell. And that Smith machine is great for certain situations, certain exercises. If you want to implement that into your routine, that's fine. But they have no barbells at these Planet Fitness. And then they have like the lunk alarm, and I don't know if I'm ever going to lift heavy again, but if I ever do regain my strength and want to try to lift heavy, if I happen to, I don't know, drop a weight or something, or grunt, which I don't grunt, but there's that stupid lunk alarm that goes off. And they've got to change the business model there. This kind of idea that we're just trying to be, what's their motto? It's like no judgment. It's the judgment-free zone, right? I think some of the best places to go are these places where you feel like you're going to get judged, because those places, you just go to a regular gym, right? Or even a hardcore lifting gym. They're not going to judge you. If anything, most people, and yeah, there are a few a-holes out there that are going to be, they're just always going to be bad people. But most of those lifters, the seasoned lifters, ones bodybuilders, are some of the nicest people and most down-to-earth people you'll ever meet. And if anything, they'll try to help you. They're not going to put you down because you're a first-timer. It's this whole judgment-free crap. The guy that came up with that idea is just a moron. Because if anything, they're being judgmental. They're being judgmental to the more experienced lifters that go in there and just want to get their workout done, right? But they can't because if they're a little too loud, or if they lift too much weight, that's being judgmental to all the other people, right? So I don't. I went to one of the Planet Fitnesses just to check it out, to see the one that's closer to my house over here, and I just, even the attitude from the woman that was showing me around, she's like, "Oh yeah, this is really more for beginners," and I don't know. I think that if you want to become a better lifter, if you want to be good at something, then you should jump in there with the sharks. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, right? Because if anything, that's going to teach you. That's going to teach you a lot more than being with other beginners. It's good to go ahead and immerse yourself into that environment so you can learn from people who have more experience than you do. So I don't like that whole concept, the judgment-free zone. I think it's just completely bogus. You need barbells. You just need free weights. Free weights are the best way, because you develop those stabilizer muscles. You develop your joints in ways that those one-track type machines aren't. And machines have their place in a routine. I'm not saying that. The Smith machine is a tool, but to really build the foundation for lifting, you need to develop those stabilizer muscles from the beginning. So that means barbells and dumbbells. Full stop. Barbells and dumbbells. That's what you really need to develop that real strength. And Planet Fitness sadly does not provide that. Now, there's also another location over here, another franchise called Crunch Fitness. They recently opened up a location that their first location is in West El Paso. So that's a no-go for me. That's like 30 miles away from me. I'm not doing a 60-mile round trip. The other location they just opened is a good 11 miles away. So that'd be like a 20-mile round trip. And I'm not really too keen. I went to visit the place, and just going through all the construction and everything else, it's going to take me forever. So, and when I got there, it kind of felt more like, I don't know, just the gym culture now, like I said, like I kind of alluded to earlier, it's just different than it was when I first started lifting weights. And so I'm not really sure. I'm apprehensive about it. with the filming and I don't know, some of the outfits that some of these people wear. And I don't want to be judgmental or anything, but it's like I don't remember guys wearing super tight sweatpants to try to show off their glutes. I don't think we did that back in the 90s, and people even in the past so much. But yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of apprehensive about joining a gym now, or rejoining a gym, getting back into the whole gym membership thing, especially if it's going to be like 50 or $60 a month. I think there's also an Anytime Fitness that's 24 hours a day, and they have like a $50 or $60 price point. And I think it comes down if you're willing to commit to like a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract. I think they'll come down on the monthly dues, but then they charge you an annual fee. And so I really honestly don't want to pay any more than maybe 10 or $15 a month. I mean, I might be willing to go back to do $30 a month like I did with LA Fitness, but that was just a deal I couldn't say no to, because they were giving me nationwide access. Here, I'm only going to get access to one location for $30. I think Gold's may offer $30, but I'm not really sure. I have to go back and look, but I know that it was, like I said, just the commute kind of, I would really, ideally, I want a place that's only about 3 miles away that I can go to, that isn't going to charge me an arm and a leg, that isn't going to lock me into like a 1 or even a 2-year commitment. I might be willing to do a 6-month commitment, even though, because I'll go. I'm not a lot of the way a lot of these gym businesses work is they know, they're well aware that, unfortunately, and we're getting to that time with the New Year's Eve, the New Year's resolutions, they know good and well that a lot of people are going to sign up, and they may use the gym membership a few times, and then they're just going to quit. And that's really sad. And they'll probably have it on auto draft, where it's just going to keep drafting that amount every month, and they're locked into it, and they're like, oh, well, they just, they don't care anymore. They just let it go. And then at some point they realize, hey, I'm paying for something I'm not using. Then they try to quit, and then they have a hassle trying to terminate the membership, And so, I don't know. I guess I'll figure it out. I'm trying to decide if I really want to go back to the gym and deal with, the antics of today's generation, and this whole just the toxic gym culture that exists today that didn't exist in the past. I don't know why things have changed so much. So I'm just kind of rambling now at this point, so I'll end the video. But yeah, good Saturday evening to everyone out there. And if you want to leave your thoughts and your comments, please do so. I'd be glad to read them. Thanks.